Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. Some more things is currently updated in the press. But the question is, do you think Manchester United can turn things around? Because we know it hasn't been the same since Alex Ferguson left. You know, we had nearly 3 decades of success with Alex Ferguson. You know, we won 13 Premier Leagues, 5 FA Cups, you know, 2 Champions Leagues, and a couple of others as well. Because Ferguson had top world class players, as we all know, and then potentially since he's left, it hasn't been the same. And then obviously, you know, he appointed Van Gaal, David Moyes in, because obviously they were both Scottish with Ferguson and David Moyes, and he recommended Moyes in, and he only lasted 9 months into the job, and he got 2 players in. Obviously, they're still here now, but he, in terms of his pedigree, he didn't really win any silverware, David Moyes, and he was managed Everton for that 9 or 10 years, and he managed Preston before that as well, did David Moyes, but he couldn't command in that position. Then we got Van Gaal, and he had a good philosophy, you know, with Bayern Munich, but he didn't deliver the goods with Manchester United. And to be fair to Van Gaal, we won the FA Cup under Louis Van Gaal as well. And now potentially Jose Mourinho. I mean, potentially we haven't done really well with Mourinho. You know, we spent over £400 million. We all currently know he's bought 11 players as Jose Mourinho. He's only won 3 trophies, you know, since he's come to the club, and he hasn't met the expectation levels, and he's lowered, you know, the expectations as Jose Mourinho, as we all know, because he won the Europa League in his first season, the League Cup in his first season, and the Community Shield, as we all know. And reportedly, he's going to get 100 million to spend in the January transfer window. Got a lot of priority targets. As we all know as Jose Mourinho, but he always seems to talk about his history a lot and what he's achieved. And you know, we know that he's had disputes, you know, with the top players at the club, as well as Jose Mourinho. But we've had a really, really bad start to this season. You know, can we potentially, you know, still turn things around? We have got a big fan base. We are, you know, historically the best team in English football. You know, the amount of success we've currently had, and we know there's been rumours about potentially Jose Mourinho, you know, leaving the club and potentially. But as I said, Mourinho, you know, was pleased with the performance, you know, that we showed against Fulham. I thought it was a very, very good team performance. You know, it's the biggest win of the season, our biggest win of the season. Obviously, it was good to see Lukaku getting his name on the score sheet, you know, since March, of course, at Old Trafford. And it's our biggest win this season, and good to see Mata get his fifth goal in the English top flight, and his 50, and providing his 50th assist as well. Was good to see from Juan Mata as well. And you know, Rashford's been playing very, very well. He's been providing assists lately and scoring some goals. But yeah, Juan Mata played very, very well in the game. You know, obviously Ashley Young, it was good to see him score, also providing assist as well. And Mata got an assist and a goal, and you know, Rashford provided 2 of the assists, and also he got his name on the score sheet as well. But it was a good team performance. I thought Doyle played very, very well against Fulham. You know, I thought his passing was good. I thought he was good on the right position out wide. I thought Young played very, very well. I thought he was very, very tenacity. You know, he played the right passes at the right time to John as well and scored a fantastic goal. And potentially, yeah, so you know, Mourinho did, you know, say we show good intent with and without the ball, he said. And then with the ball, he said we showed good 1-2 touches and that, and he was very delighted about that. Jose Mourinho praised, obviously, Doyle for his fantastic performance. He put it, he said, Doyle's 19 years of age. He is still in his prime, obviously, but he's 19 years of age. He's physically very, very strong and technically very, very good. I thought Doyle played very, very well against Fulham, as I said, but I was convinced we were going to win that game, even though we haven't been good this season. The performances haven't been that good, as we all currently know. So potentially, yeah, and we know potentially now. It says you know, it hasn't favoured, it hasn't done Jose Mourinho any favours of the statement that George Mendes had potentially come up with, because reportedly, we know there's been news about potentially Jose Mourinho leaving at the end of the season, as we all know, and potentially it did um, potentially as well, it did confirm potentially about George Mendes that he'd come out with a statement. He totally dispelled the myth, and George Mendes had come out and potentially said Mourinho's happy at the club are happy with him, he's fully committed at Manchester United, and this is what potentially George Mendes has said. He never really speaks publicly about Jose Mourinho, and he doesn't really have a good relationship with Man United, does George Mendes, as we all know, but reportedly said he's fully committed to the club are happy with him, he's happy at the club, and he mentioned about his long-term contract got here, Jose Mourinho, as we all know. But reportedly, a few people have come out and said it hasn't done Jose Mourinho any favours of the current statement that currently George Mendes had come out with. Was it a night or so ago? You know, I updated you on it anywhere. But Mourinho's give us a bit of team news going into the game on Wednesday night against Valencia, our last Champions League game. Reportedly, he said Paul Pogba will be returning because he missed Arsenal, so he will potentially playing. He said he's got to match the mentality of his teammates as Pogba. This is what Mourinho, explained to Paul Pogba. And he said he's got to improve his mentality as well. So he said Mourinho said he's going to prove himself on Wednesday night. He's Pogba. He also gives an update about Fred as well. He said potentially about Fred. He will be getting more game time because obviously we paid £52 million for him. But he said about Fred, he will be getting more game time. Potentially when we strong defend when we strengthen up defensively and when we look stronger in defence and when we potentially when the team is better balanced as well, and this is what Mourinho had said. Also in terms of Pereira, Mourinho said he's going to give him a start on Wednesday as well because Pereira's hardly played this season. I'm seeing potentially Mourinho has currently praised him as well. And in terms of Paul Pogba, Mourinho said he can still do fantastic for the club, can Paul Pogba. So this is what Mourinho currently explained. But we know he obviously hasn't met the expectation levels, Mourinho. Basically I thought he was going to get us back competing and challenging for major honours, as we've failed to do. But potentially sometimes it takes managers time, because it took Fergie 4 years, to win some silverware, as we all currently know. And going into Wednesday night, potentially we don't really have to win because obviously we're in the knockouts for February anyway in the Champions League, and we're nowhere near going to compete in the Champions League. But do you think I think we are going to lose some players because there's a lot of players coming to the deals, and I think we are going to lose some players. Mourinho's looking to strengthen up defensively and also get an attacker in as well. But potentially, the latest news, Man United are linked with a couple of centre-backs now. We know Koulibaly is being mentioned in the press. And today, of what I've seen in the press as an alternative defender is Elder Militao, from Porto. Reportedly, it's been reported today in the press that reportedly Man United are linked with him as an alternative to Koulibaly. Reportedly, the player is only 20 years of age. Well, obviously he plays for Porto. He can play as a central defender. He can play as a left back, and he can. I think he plays centre back, a full back, and a defensive midfielder. He is 20 years old. Reportedly, he has a release clause of around £45 million. Reportedly, Man United have to trigger the full clause, potentially to maybe have a chance of getting the pursuit with the player. He is only very, very young, and obviously we got Doyle from Porto, and he's only 19 years of age, so they are both youngsters. Reportedly, he's under contract with Porto till 2023 as well. Obviously, I think teams were linked to him, when he was in his Sao Paulo days, where he'd risen up the youth system, with Sao Paulo very, very well. He was in the youth academy for Sao Paulo about 7 years, and he's at Porto, and he's been in the senior team for like a year or two now. Or something like that? But reportedly, he's a very, very good young age prospect, and reportedly he has a release clause of around 44, or is it £50 million or something like that? He's got a release clause too. But reportedly, Man United are keen on the current player. He is 20 years of age. I think he's quite tall as well is the player. So he's another potential Manchester United target who have been linked to. Do you think he'd complement our defence very well? I think we're best off with a young defender, that can try and grow and develop us. We have got problems in that defence, because we've had problems with injuries this season, as we all currently know. But potentially, it came out in the media today that Man United were reportedly in discussions with Napoli over the pursuit of Koulibaly. Reportedly, it could cost Man United in the region of about 89 million, or maybe more than 90 million, or maybe more than 90 million, which would potentially be the most expensive defender in the world. As I said, so reportedly, Man United are interested in Koulibaly. A couple of weeks ago, reportedly, Man United had a bid turned down. Was it around £77-80 million? We had a bid turned down. I think the Napoli president had immediately turned this bid down as well. But reportedly, Manchester United are linked to him. Reportedly, we've been in discussions with Napoli over this. Reportedly, he's under contract with Napoli to 2023. He can play as a centre-back, a left-back, and he can also be deployed as a defensive midfielder as well. He's been at Genk and Metz in the past, and Napoli, obviously it's one of Napoli's star players. He's highly experienced in Italy. He's been at Napoli since 2014. I think he's made 174 appearances for Napoli. He's made 29 appearances for Senegal as well. And potentially, yeah, he's a very, very good player. I think, how old is he? 27 years of age, Koulibaly, and I think he'd dramatically improve us in that defensive area. But yeah, he's one of Mourinho's, we obviously need an experienced defender, at that centre-back position. And do you think Koulibaly, could deliver the goods if he was to come? I said it could cost Man United in the region of 90 million. Napoli only paid, obviously, £7 million for him. As I currently said, from Genk, Napoli paid £7 million for him. I think he's keen, coming to Old Trafford, and he's keen to come and play in English football. And it would be good to come and see him experience, English football, Koulibaly as well. But reportedly, Eldor Milito, I can't pronounce his surname. I know it's Eder Milito or something like that, but he is 20-year-old. If you look it up in the press, he's a Porto central defender, and he's got a contract to 2022-2023, and he has a release clause of around 50 million pounds, and reportedly Man United have used him as an alternative as well. But do you believe that Mourinho can take around in Man United? It seems to discuss about what he's won in the past, and I said we need to recommend a manager who's got the winning mentality, who can command us in that position, as we all know. But Jose Mourinho is not doing it at this moment in time. We know we've had a really bad season. Last season we was empty-handed, but we still got second place, and we finished like 19, 20 points behind Manchester City. As we all know, but the best forms I've seen all season was the Fulham game yesterday. Obviously, our biggest win this season. And potentially, the performances have stepped up, in the last couple of games, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. The performances have really, really stepped up, and they really, really have, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. They have stepped up of the performances. In the Arsenal game, I thought, in terms of level of commitment, the commitment was there. We still lack quality in the final third, and, we still were struggling to create clinical chances, but we stepped it up against Arsenal. We stepped it up, very, very well against Fulham as well, but there's still, problems in the squad, as we all currently know. But Jose Mourinho says if City and Liverpool keep spending, it's going to be hard for us, to challenge for the title, because City and Liverpool are two great sides. And I know City lost yesterday, but they're still a really, really good side. Pep Guardiola spent a lot of money, into that Manchester City team. He spent like £1 billion all his managerial career. More than half that's been spent on Manchester City. And they are a great, great side with great, great players, just like Liverpool as well. But Mourinho says he doesn't know when Man United are going to challenge. Obviously, when we reinvest and get players in that we need and get rid of players, that we don't need, and potentially Mourinho has to change. People have criticised Mourinho's team selection and his current tactics, as well as we all know. And these players this season especially that have been underperforming, such as Lukaku. I know he scored yesterday against Fulham, but Lukaku, I know he's well proven in the Premier League. He's Romelu Lukaku, as we all currently know. Everyone talks about him being a big game bottler. His first touch isn't that good, but I thought he was very, very good in his first season with Man United. But we do need someone up there to lead them lines. Romelu Lukaku, as I said, you can't compare him to the likes of Aubameyang at Arsenal, Harry Kane at Tottenham. You can't compare him to them type of players, Romelu Lukaku, but he's proven to be a prolific goal scorer. But this season, he just hasn't been to his potential best. He is becoming frustrated with Jose Mourinho as Romelu Lukaku. And for Belgium, he's scored 45 goals for Belgium as well as Romelu Lukaku. But yeah, very, very... he can be a good player on the day. I thought he played well against Fulham, did Romelu Lukaku. So I praised him for that. And, Marcus Rashford's been doing very, very well lately. He's been a Manchester United player since the age of 7, and he's won everything here, of course, part of the Premier League and the Champions League. And it's time for Rashford still to win that. With Jose Mourinho, I'm not quite confident, that he can, ever get the Premier League or Champions League with us. Same with Antonio Martial, because they're both good young age prospects. Good two young age talents. And Martial's without doubt been our best outfield player this season. As he currently said, but I want Martial to sign a new contract at the club, as I said, and I hope he really, really does, to be quite honest with you. But Rashford's got a good pedigree scoring on his debut, and in the last couple of games, Rashford has really, really stepped it up, as he currently said, and we can build on this now. These, so it just proves that we did, like we showed yesterday, and a lot in periods of the Arsenal game. It just shows that we can perform, we can create chances, and that we can score goals. So it just proves that we can perform. It's about Mourinho getting it right. We know everyone's, criticised his style of play and his managerial style, at the club. But, if we work together as a team, we can achieve. And potentially, we need top 4 this season is very important. We need the top 4 this season, as I said. Mourinho said quite a few weeks ago, he wanted top 4 by the end of the year. And then he said we almost need a miracle for top 4 onto Brazilian TV. He said he didn't remember saying it, of course, but he says we don't need a miracle at all because we have got winnable games coming up. Liverpool's going to be tough, Then we've got like the likes of Cardiff, we should be winning. We've got Bournemouth at Old Trafford, we should be currently winning as well. But yeah, we are linked with a lot of players for the January window. Mourinho said, quite a few weeks ago he wasn't too convinced we was going to get any Galactico players, in the January transfer window as well. But as we all know, we've had injury problems this season. I think we had injury problems like last season. We got, had a lot of players injured. Obviously when Ibrahimovic was here, he suffered a nasty injury. In Rojo before in the Anderlecht game, in the same game, we suffered 2 bad injuries in that game. Was it last year or something like that? I think that's what potentially, ended Ibrahimovic's career with Man United, and then potentially he came back, didn't he? If I can remember rightly, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, we got him on a free from Paris Saint-Germain, but potentially we know Mourinho was frustrated. He missed out on a lot of potential targets. At one point we had number 7 vacant for quite a while, and we missed out on a lot of key players. I thought Griezmann would have delivered the goods fantastically well. Obviously he has a good relationship with Pogba because they both play for France, and he's proven to be a prolific goal scorer with Griezmann. He does it with Atletico Madrid. Very good for France as well. Griezmann, he's won a lot of individual awards, for himself, and it's a shame he couldn't come to United. We'd have had to splash out a lot of money for him, but obviously Atletico Madrid got a transfer ban, so he didn't get the deal over the line, which was a shame. I think he would have delivered the goods at United. And, we did miss out on a lot of potential targets. I think Griezmann being fantastic as well. I'd have loved, potentially, I'd have loved the likes of even Morata. I'd have loved Morata. I'd have definitely preferred Morata over Lukaku, because at one point it was looking like we was going to get Morata and Chelsea were going to get Lukaku. Because obviously he's been at Chelsea in the past as Romelu Lukaku as well. And obviously he began his professional debut at the age of 16, with Anderlecht. Did Lukaku, and his first season with Chelsea wasn't irregular, of course, was Romelu Lukaku, but very, very good player when he wants to be Lukaku, to be quite fair to him. But Morata, more highly experienced. Lukaku's more Premier League proven than Morata, but Morata's highly experienced in Spain, and since he's come to, since he's gone to Chelsea, he hasn't done bad at all, as we all know. But we know Sanchez currently isn't delivering the goods at the moment. We know he's currently out. Is it till January or something like that? Mourinho confirmed he's going to be out for a long time. He's Alexis Sanchez. I think, if we could still give him a bit of time, give him time to, link up and try and fit in the team. He hasn't done it yet, Alexis Sanchez, but it sometimes takes players time to fit in, as we all currently know. And he was good during his days with Arsenal, with Arsene Wenger for 5 years, good with Underneath, good with Barcelona, but as I said, he hasn't done it at Manchester United, and he's on £500,000 a week, as well as Sanchez, as I currently said. But, there were talks of a week he wanted to leave. He told his friends because he was frustrated with Mourinho, and he was keen on making the move to Paris Saint-Germain, was Sanchez as well. But yeah, and I think, potentially Lindelof's improved this season, dramatically improved this season, compared to his first season. He was struggling, and then all of a sudden he fatting, and he potentially started playing very, very good defensively. Lindelof, we know he's out. It's a shame he's out, because I think he's dramatically improved this season. He's out till mid this month. He's Victor Lindelof as well. So we have had a lot of injury problems, as we all currently know. As I said, got a lot of players coming to the end of the deals as well. So now what we've got to try and do is build a platform, carry on these performances we've showed lately, and then we'll get the results we want. And then potentially now, if we go on a good run of form, we go on like 5-6 games on a winning trot, the pressure will ease a bit off Jose Mourinho, because we know he's still under immense pressure. Man United beating Fulham doesn't really change a lot of fans' perspectives of Jose Mourinho out, because there's still a lot of fans still want him out, because obviously Fulham bottom of the table, they've got the worst goal difference in the league, and it was a comfortable victory. But I'm still Mourinho out, because I said people question his tactics and his team selection. As well, and we know we're still 2 or 3 years off the league, as I currently said, and we're not the team we used to be, but we've just got to keep showing this momentum we've been showing lately, show this confidence. Mourinho still hasn't dropped Nemanja Matic. I want Matic dropped, because potentially he's been crap for us this season. I said he had concerns about Matic, when he came to the club. Obviously he's got a good relationship with Mourinho. to be fair to Matic, he didn't have a bad game against Fulham. He had a great game against Arsenal. So in the last couple of games, he's been good. But, for the majority of this season, Matic has been absolutely terrible. And I've wanted Mourinho to drop him. But he hasn't really dropped Matic this season. There's one game there. Mourinho's actually dropped Matic this season. I can't remember. Might be one or two. I can't fully remember. But I know he's been playing a hell of a lot this season, hasn't he, Nemanja Matic? And, I think Mourinho's plan A is shit. I think his plan B is shit. But, managers sometimes do turn it around after they have a couple of years of a bad spell. This is our worst season we've had in absolutely years, as I said. But do you have any faith in Mourinho? I think he will be here at the end of the season. Of course, we've heard the rumours about Pochettino potentially coming in at the end of the season. For Mourinho, reportedly said it'll cost the club less to sack Mourinho if we don't get top 4 at the end of the by the end of the season, Champions League for next season. Reportedly, Pochettino does have he has a 5-year deal worth £8 million per season. Tottenham are still waiting for the new stadium, and potentially he's only spent £50 million since 2014, as Mauricio Pochettino as well, and potentially Pochettino, as I said, do you think he'd have that winning mentality? Do you think he'd suit the strap-ons of the club, Pochettino? I know he's highly experienced in the Premier League. He's been in the Premier League 7 years, as I said. And in terms of winning silverware as a manager, he hasn't done it because he hasn't really managed any big clubs. Pochettino, to be fair. Tottenham are a decent club. They're not a massive club. They have got good players. Mourinho spoke about how reluctant they are, to sell the best players to Tottenham. But Pochettino's come out. Potentially, he's aware of the rumours that have been going on. With the speculation going on. With him being linked with a move to Old Trafford at the end of the season. He partly said he's happy at Tottenham. He's focused on getting top 4. He said that's his best hopes, and we know we was linked with him a couple of years ago. Pochettino, but we never got him. But I think he'd change the whole team round. I think he'd build, in the team. I think he'd, build a platform in the team. I think he'd change the team. I think, we'd actually do good under Pochettino. But potentially, if we were to get him, it would be at the end of the season, if Mourinho does leave him at the end of the season. But I said, if we do turn it around now, we've had a bad spell in the first half of the season, but if we turn it around now and get positive results and positive performances in the second half of the season, the pressure will ease off Mourinho a lot. And potentially Mourinho still then, if we do turn around in the second half of the season and improve, he may still get at least another season to try and turn things around, as I said. But Pochettino, as I said, being Premier League 7 years, managed Espanyol before, obviously played as a player for 18 years with Espanyol, won 2 Copa del Rey and made over 300 appearances. So it was just under 2 decades he played as a player, and he played for Bordeaux and Paris Saint-Germain and all that. And he began his career with Newell's Old Boys, did Pochettino as well. But we know that we've heard the rumours about that as well in the last couple of days in the press. The board and the owners have thought about recommending him at the end of the season. It said it could cost around £40 million for us to get Pochettino to replace Mourinho at the end of the season. But yeah, Mourinho's relationship, a lot of top players hasn't been good since he's been here. We know when there's been rumours about him potentially making a return to Real Madrid, but obviously we know whilst he was at Real Madrid, I know he's a winner, he's proven it in the past, but whilst he's at Real Madrid, when he was at Real Madrid, he had disputes with a lot of the players there as well, did Jose Mourinho, and I think he's changed the whole identity since he's come to his club, but he's had 3, this is his 3rd season now, it's not like year 1 again, like I said on my previous videos, like he's trying to get used to the team, and he's getting used to the new era and stuff like that. He should know now because he's spent a lot of money. We've spent a lot of money in the managerial eras, as we all know. But do you have any faith that we can, turn it around? We know we're never going to get a manager as comparable as Fergie, but we just need, and I think the board need to recommend a new manager that can, be a successor at this massive club, as I said. But, the board and the owners, may still give Mourinho a bit of time now. Potentially now, we could go on a good run. Liverpool's going to be a very, very difficult game indeed, as I said. But we know there's another, there's a lot of central defenders Man United linked. We know Milan Skriniar, it came out in the press the other week that Man United, Man United were linked with him as well. it came out that Man United linked with him the other week. I think he's attracted a few interest from other teams. Reportedly, he's young as well. He's in his prime. He's rated at around 75 million pounds. He's an Inter Milan player. We're all aware that Inter Milan obviously have got a new director in now, Beppe Marotta. Inter Milan are obviously under financial fair play, so they do need to invest some money to sanction a couple of players off. Milan Skriniar is young. I think he's got, is it 4 years left on his deal? He got nominated the best under-21 player for Slovakia in 2016. And also, I think Inter Milan paid £20 million for him as well, the highest paid fee for a Slovakian player in Milan Skriniar. And he's also an ex-Sampdoria player. But he looks very, very good of what I've seen of him, this Milan Skriniar. So reportedly, Man United have also been potentially linked with him as well. Wait a minute, who's that outside? But as I said, sorry, I just thought it was someone I knew outside. But yeah, Milan Skriniar, he's been on Manchester United's targets as well. So yeah, do you believe Manchester United can turn it around? You know, we could see a lot of players leave. As I said, we've got a lot of players, you know, coming to the end of the deals. As I said, Darmian could leave, maybe Bailey could leave. He hasn't really featured in the team much this season. I know he played against Arsenal and that, and I thought he put a really good performance in against Arsenal, did Eric Bailey. But he could leave. And, you know, I hope Man United can secure Mata a new deal. You know, he's very, very consistent and very, very good. I know he played, was it on the left-hand side against Fulham at the weekend? But it was good to see him get a goal and an assist. I hope Herrera, I think he's done well this season, Herrera. In most of his games he's played, I think he's, you know, done very, very well in that midfield, to be quite fair, Herrera. I think he had a bad game against City, but I think he's done very, very well overall this season under Herrera, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, we've still got a lot of catalogue of players, you know, coming to end of the deals. As I said, but if these forms just keep up as we against Fulham, as we've shown against Arsenal, we can build up and we can start getting results behind us, because we desperately need results, because we're 8 points, is it, from top 4, 7 points? We're 16 points behind, you know, top place. Potentially, we know we're not going to win the title. You know, potentially, are United going to ever win the title again? You know, with Jose Mourinho, I'm not too convinced unless a miracle happens and he turns it all around and we become a team challenge again. Will there be a difference if we get a couple of names in the January window, you know, to bolster the squad even more? We need a world-class central defender, of course. We need a highly experienced defender, and that's Koulibaly would be one of them. You know, would Toby Alderweireld be one of them? You know, because he's another player, you know, who Manchester United have been linked to. He's well Premier League proven. He's Toby Alderweireld. He's got a 25 million release clause for next summer. As well as Toby Alderweireld. So we are linked to a lot of players such as Joe Boateng, Harry Maguire, and, you know, potentially, you know, I think Doyle's a good young age prospect, and, you know, he's been playing recently, you know, as Diego Doyle. He been injured early on in the season as well, but Doyle, I think he's going to, you know, grow and develop very, very well if he carries on with his performances he's been showing. And, you know, obviously it used to be Valencia, our most central right back, but now I think it's going to be Doyle. Obviously, we know Mourinho mainly plays Ashley Young at right back, mainly as well. He played at left back against Arsenal. Did Ashley Young, as we all currently know. But we needed that win yesterday because we was winless in our last 4 Premier League games, you know, before the Fulham game. So we desperately need that win to give us any chance of going for the top 4 this season, as I said. So yeah, so there's potentially a lot of problems at the club. But as I potentially said, of what George Mendes' statement come out with, he rarely publicly talks about the club or Mourinho. He doesn't have a good relationship with the club, reportedly, Mendes. But reportedly, according to some journalists or whoever said it, reportedly it hasn't done Mourinho any favours. So Mendes says he's happy at the club. The club are happy with him. And he's given us updates going into Wednesday night against Valencia away. We're not going to compete in the Champions League anyway because there's too many good teams with far too many good players, and, you know, we're not going to compete in that. But was it last time in Champions League we got knocked out by Sevilla, didn't we, or something like that, at home? But potentially, yeah, you know, Mourinho says it's going to be hard for us to challenge. You know, City needs sanctions. You know, if we have any chance of challenging, so he said it's going to be hard for us to be. You know, I don't know when we're next going to be title contenders. I think when we get some players in, maybe get a new manager in, but you know, obviously, you know, we can't afford to drop any more points. Never afford to drop any more points if we, you know, are going for the top four, which we are going for the top four. You know, David De Gea even explained, you know, that the league's impossible and we've got to. Our aim is to go for the top four now, of course. But as I said about this central defender, he's come out in the press about Eder Matilla or something like that. He's a Porto central defender. He can play as a fullback and a defensive midfielder. He is only 20 years of age, as I said, and you know, reportedly has a 50 million release clause. He's been in the senior team a couple of years. You know, he risen up the ranks with Sopolu. He was in the youth system with them for about 7 years. So he's been a senior player since like what 2017. So it's like a year or just over a year, something like that. He's been in the senior squad and he's under contract with Porto to 2023, and he does have a release clause of around 50 million pounds. And reportedly Manchester United have been interested as an alternative to Koulibaly, because Koulibaly recently got nominated African Player of the Year as well, so potentially Man United interested in him as well. But reportedly it could cost Man United in the region of 90 million, which would make him the most expensive defender in the world. The most expensive defender in the world now is Liverpool's, isn't it? Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, 75 million pounds. Of course, but Liverpool going to be a difficult game. You know, potentially have a good record against Liverpool, you know, to be quite fair. Even though we had bad times under Louis van Gaal, I think we beat them 4 times in the league under Louis van Gaal. We beat them last season as well with Mourinho, 2-1 at home, and it was 0-0 at Anfield. I think the last 2 visits to Anfield in the league have been potentially 0-0 draws. Yeah, I think last time we lost to him, was it in the Europa League a couple of years ago? 2-0 at Anfield, 1-1 at Old Trafford. We lost that anywhere. Last time they beat us at Old Trafford in the Premier League, was actually back in the David Moyes era. We lost 3-0 at Old Trafford. But yeah, we mainly have a good record against Liverpool. You know, Rashford scored twice against them last season. But, you know, Mourinho can't park the bus against, you know, he's got to get it right, the tactics right, the team selection right, and he can't park the bus against Liverpool because he did it. Was it last season he parked the bus against Liverpool when it was 0-0? Was it the season before? Can't fully remember. And he parked the bus against Manchester City this season, did Jose Mourinho. So we can't potentially park the bus against Liverpool. You know, definitely not, because they will punish us because they have got the players to do it. Klopp spent, you know, quite a bit of money since he's been there, and Liverpool have got world-class players that can totally punish you, and that can cause our defence all sorts of problems, because we've got one of the worst goal defences in the league this season. Absolutely terrible defence we've got, and so potentially somehow it needs addressing. But as I said, Mourinho confirmed Pereira will be playing Wednesday, I think. He's going to give him the opportunity. Pogba has got to match the mentality of his teammates. As I said, so Mourinho's, you know, going to give him chance to prove himself on Wednesday. Pogba, I don't know if he's going to stay or not at the club. He may leave. I don't know what's going to happen with Pogba. Potentially the rumours of a week saying he wanted to potentially make a return back to Juventus. Potentially because he had 4 or 5 good years there. He hasn't really proven himself in English football with Man United. We paid £89 million for him, but he hasn't really proved himself. You know, he's still got good, huge talent. He is still potentially a very, very good footballer, but you know, he does have the odd good game here and there with Man United. But I think potentially Pogba, to be quite fair, to be honest, we need a world-class midfielder alongside him. Like, I think Vidal had complemented him very well at this club. I'd love Vidal at Manchester United because Vidal's very highly experienced and is a very, very good midfielder. He was great at Bayern Munich. He's now at Barcelona, isn't he? I'd love a player like Otto Vidal. And I think potentially if you discard Pogba from that midfield, you know, potentially, you know, the whole midfield changes. It's static, you know, without Pogba there. And you know, I think Pogba needs a strong midfielder alongside him, if I'm going to quite honest, because Fellaini has no temper to his play, static, so to his Matic, he's static as well, and they are both tall players as well. Herrera only looks good in the midfield, in my opinion. I think he's a good player, but he only looks good in the midfield, you know, if he's alongside Pogba or Fred or whatever. But when he's, you know, Herrera's alongside Matic and Fellaini in the midfield, I think, you know, Herrera doesn't really play well alongside them, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But potentially we did miss out on a lot of potential targets. It is disappointing, but we have got January to address the problems. And of course next summer as well. And reportedly he's going to get £100 million to spend. City and Liverpool are still going to spend, even though they've spent quite a bit. City have got a great team. Yeah, so we do need a strong central defender in. We do need another attacker in. As I said, so we'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, I'd like to know your opinions and thoughts. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, guys, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.